MGM, everyone. Oh, dude, that intro song is so much better, Craig, than the one we've been having for the past week. That actually got me in a mood,
Yeah, man, got
Yeah,
rustled my jimmies a little bit, so that was
it
good.
did, man. It did on this fine Friday morning. GM, everyone, hope you having a great Thursday night / Friday morning. We have a special guest today. Jamsey is live with us. Mate, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We've all kind of interacted together for quite a while on the timeline or in group chats, you two. So, mate, thanks so much for jumping on with us today.
Dude, I mean, after that intro, I don't even know. Like, I think we're done. That's it.
Yeah.
Close it off. That was fucking banging, dude. The new branding is sick.
Thanks, bro. Massive shout out to Craig. Craig and his wife. They handled a lot of it behind the scenes. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that was mad cool, bro. You guys did a good job with that. I love it.
Thank you, bro.
Man. Thanks, guy. Look out, Thread Guy and Clemente. There's new kids in town, eh? There's a new
Right,
sheriff
look
in
out.
town.
It's such a shame we don't live closer, Craig, because we could do more skits and stuff like that as well. It's just, but what, we're like 3 hours away from each other.
To each other, yeah. Sometimes those double studio ones, like Eliza did with Sanjay or whatever, that looked good, man. The set
does look clean. Does look clean.
I was like, damn, I need to do one of those with Greeny. Anyway, Jamesy, how are you, bro? It's what is it, Thursday night? Thursday there?
Yeah, Thursday here. I mean, what can I say? It's a nice day out. Gotta go for a run after this. But stoked to be here talking with you guys about whatever we decide to talk about, everything market, crypto. I mean, holy shit, this year's been 22 days and it feels like it's been a whole year already. I can't believe that we're only 22 days into the year.
I know, it's crazy,
Yeah, we're the same. It's our Friday here, so last show of the week. So it's a nice one to have you on, actually. So thank you for kindly giving us your time, coming have a chat, and we can run through the normal crypto news, Greeny, and just I guess shoot the shit with Jamesy on becoming a creator, all those things. He's obviously crushing it. So happy to have you here, my bro.
Well, to start off, as always, guys, massive shout out to OKX for partnering with us here at Markets Mates. You can check them out down below and join one of the safest platforms in the industry. Craig and I have been on there now for multiple months, buying some BTC, and hopefully I can't wait to buy some BTC at 50K on OKX. We got 2 news points that Craig just sent me because I think these are relevant to both our conversations that we can have this morning. So let me just pull these up. The first one, it's kicked Craig off again. We need to fix the. So breaking news: all sneaky, undisclosed shills in crypto and everywhere else will finally start to catch up. X is building out a pay promotion label / disclaimer. If you got compensated in any way, tokens, NFTs, assets, cash, you could be pumping or that you're pumping and you could profit from, you have to disclose. I don't know if this is legit or if this is just an AI thing, but I would expect that this potentially is happening, boys, in the near future. I think this is probably a good move. What do we think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's true. Obviously, I just found it. I was like, oh, maybe this is just to tie in with the latest news on disclosure. Obviously, there was a big blow up this week about it. This is sort of similar. I think they do this on Instagram and things, don't they? Aren't there buttons you tick just like this?
Hashtag ad in some countries on social media.
Yeah, I personally, I don't hate it, bro. I kind of feel like if you are copying some money for something or however tokens, whatever you get, a free NFT, maybe this is the right thing to do, because how else do you write it? Like, some people don't write it, some people do. If you have this button here, it's hard for someone to go, oops, I forgot.
Yeah.
So probably a move in the right direction. Whether a button like that's the right way, I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe, Jamesy, what do you reckon, man?
I'm a huge fan of this. I mean, I've talked about this over the years where I'm surprised it's taken this long. If this does come out, this is way past due. Every social media platform that exists is used for so much marketing, whether it's through paid ads or just brand deals on personal or business accounts. Like this should be the norm. I think for some reason X is so behind on the times that if they are doing this now, I mean, thank God. I think that the issue with something like this, I guess this is not the issue, but the issue is people. The people that are already disclaiming in writing are probably the ones that are going to opt to choose to use this feature. The people that are not disclaiming in writing are probably the people that are going to be less likely to use the feature. So it doesn't solve the issue of disclosure or undisclosure per se. But I think that for people like for me, I think this is great. I hate having to write a tweet and find where I can put in a way that's
Yeah.
obvious. I'm working with someone, or I'm collaborating with someone, or they paid me for something. Because I don't want the tweet to look like dog shit. But at the
That's
same
right.
time, I want to make sure that I'm always telling people, and you guys probably see on my tweets, like I do sponsor content. It's very apparent. Everybody knows that, right? But when I do it, I write it. People know that it's sponsored content. Even when I'm working with companies through our consulting company and I'm not being paid to make a tweet, I still tell people, hey, by the way, we work with these people, we consult with these people, we're advising these people. Like, I think those material connections are very important, especially when there's like financial instruments, or maybe we don't have to go as far as financial instruments, but things people could put money into that if there was a material relationship there, they might not, or they just might think about it more. Whatever they decide to do, it's up to them, but informed, right? So there are a bunch of people right now that are, in my opinion, doing a pretty darn good job at disclosing. I saw a tweet the other day from, I think it was Chill Pill,
Mhm.
with the whole whale
Hmm.
undisclosed mistake that he apologized for. And essentially, it was like, we're doing a lot better than we were a couple years ago. Absolutely, I think we
Yeah,
are.
bro.
I think
Yeah.
there's still a long way to go, and there's still a lot of people that are not disclosing when there are material connections in what they're doing. But I would also agree that compared to even 1 year ago or 2 years ago, it's night and day difference,
Yeah.
which is sad saying because that means there was a lot of undisclosed promotional stuff. But with that being said, I think that this feature, if this does come out, is a super, super good step in the right direction.
Hmm.
Albeit, I think it will be used more likely by the people that are already doing some sort of disclosure.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it is a nicer way to probably package up the way it is a partner tweet or sponsored tweet or whatever, however terminology you want to use. And I agree with Jamesy. Sometimes, and Greeny, you'll be the same. When you want to write a really great piece about something you're excited about, but say you are collabing with that person, where you introduce the fact it is a collaboration, like Jamesy said, without making it look like it's really insincere and you don't actually mean anything you're saying. It's a balancing act, isn't it? But it's kind of a good thing, I think, just in the way now that this semi hopefully not forces people's hands, but if this is included, then to not click that button makes you look real scummy. I think it makes you look
Well,
worse if
a
you
lot of
don't.
work I've done, I always disclose. And YouTube actually has a little thing you can tick as well when you upload a video. That's
And that's how easy it is. You just tick the
yeah,
box, right?
exactly.
And then I don't know what it's gonna do, if it's gonna add a flare or a little
Yeah,
caption at the bottom or whatever. But like, if you go on Instagram and flick through Instagram, every fifth thing that I flick through is a sponsored thing, and
100%, bro.
it just says Greeny and Craig, like boom
Yeah,
at the top. But I as a consumer know it's okay, fine. I still decide to consume it,
That's right.
which is great. But it's just so easy and so in your face, and that's what I think the issue is with Twitter not having a flare or a marker. Is it's not as in your face as having a flare or something on the visual
yeah,
that's done by the platform that's universally recognized.
yeah. It has to
I
be
agree.
visual. I agree. Yeah, yeah.
I agree. And I agree with Jamesy. It's got better since I came to crypto in 21. I remember in 21, after the bull markets ended, it came out that obviously a lot of the influencers back then, the big ones, there was Marin came out, a pretty big story on her. Might have been BitBoy. I think it was I can't remember
Lady of
which.
crypto. There's so many, man.
Yeah, there was a big list of very big creators. Like I'm talking the top tier creators that were not disclosing. A lot of them are the big YouTubers, actually,
Yeah.
funny enough. And it came out what their monthly pays were. It actually got, I don't know how it got hacked or exposed. Someone leaked it basically. And it didn't actually, ruin some people. But the problem was half those people walked away with such a big bag
Mm.
they actually didn't come back. A lot of them, maybe they rebranded because some of them weren't doxxed. I guess they just took the cash and ran anyway. But you saw the amounts they were getting monthly. Some of them were juicy paychecks, man. I was like, wow, no wonder you didn't have to come back. Like you just went, thanks, guys, and out of here. So I think it has improved from what I can see.
That's
Well,
something that I'm learning even this week, though, is that, I mean, I still kind of want to refuse to believe it, but it seems more likely than not that people are being paid to actually not disclose. Like it's
Mm.
actually like a request. I've
Mhm.
had people ask me do that before, and I basically just say a no or piss off, and it's either a no or piss off. But like from what I understand from the reading that I've been doing on Twitter is some people are literally being paid premiums to not disclose. Like, instead of we'll pay you $5,000 for the tweet, we'll pay you $30,000 for the tweet. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Wow.
So like TJR, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. All these things are unsubstantiated. Same with Whale, but then Whale came out and said, "Yeah, I made a mistake, guys. I apologize." So like, I don't know, 45 bags for a tweet is crazy, right?
It's
Like,
crazy.
there has to be a reason that someone's paying you that much money for the tweet. I don't know if it's because of that or if it's I don't know what's going on, but I would love to tweet for $45,000. Let me know. Hit me up.
Oh, here we go. Jake gives us thoughts on Orangey.
So Orangey got 35 and TGR got 45.
I had no idea people were making that kind of money.
No, neither.
Like, that's crazy, right? Okay.
I mean, those astronomical numbers to me. That imagine getting 45K for one tweet, man.
Like, I've heard these things before, but I've never believed them until like basically this week, and I'm like, oh shit, I might be very naive.
Yeah, I feel very underpaid actually seeing that.
Do you think like there should be some accountability here and some like with the law, or like what do we think here, boys? Like what, like, or is this just crypto because it's still so unregulated, so international? Like you can get away with this. What do we think?
Yeah, so here's the thing. First of all, I'm not a lawyer. I don't really know how all these things work. The FTC has guidelines for advertising and marketing, but this is not a crypto problem. I guarantee you that. I have a bunch of friends who run different businesses and work in different verticals in Web 2. It's just as bad, if not worse.
Really?
It's just a thing. And it kind of always boils down to, one, I guess there's a premium to not disclose sometimes. But for me, I think disclosure, and that's why I think disclosure done right with a flare is going to be really good, is because sponsored tweets and sponsored content doesn't do as well or come off as genuine as regular content.
Yeah.
And I mean that in terms of conversions, of customers, like whatever you're selling, Web 2, Web 3, whatever it may be, it's not as powerful, right? And that's where I think some people think, oh, I'm diminishing my brand by disclosing, whereas I'm of the opposite belief, and I'm like, you're actually empowering, because if you're honest with the people that consume your content, they're going to follow you for a longer time. If you're disingenuine with them and they find out one day, they're going to fucking pitchfork you and you're done. You're cooked.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those, like, those kind of, you know, barbells where it's short term, long term. And yeah, in the short term, I think a lot of people are able to do it and not disclose many times, right? But I think in the long term, that almost always comes to bite people in the ass one way or another. And I think that, like, again, going back to, it's a little bit less taboo on Twitter now. It's like, why not do it? I'm actually curious why people are like, there are people that are still not doing it. Is it because they're going to think everyone, I just don't know why people, I just don't get it. Because you can still get deals. You can still work with brands. You guys are working with OKX. I've worked with OKX. I work with some incredible companies, man. Like, I got to go to New York with Fight ID and meet Dustin Poirier, meet Masvidal, meet Pereira, go to the UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden. I'm working with this cool ass company, man. And I'm proud to tell people that I'm working with them. Like, that's the thing, right? So maybe there's this element of, like, I don't know, the shadier or like the less proud you are of that material connection, the less like you are to disclose. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be taboo, right? It doesn't have to be.
No, I agree. I think I felt like in 21 or 21, 22, there was more of a stigma with doing sponsored or paid or collaborations. I don't know why. Maybe that was just me, but I felt like back then, if you were seen to be taking deals like that in crypto, you're a bit of a sellout. But I think as it's matured, obviously partnering, you know, you brought up OKX, who we're partnered with, and so are you. I think if you're selective in your partnerships, with Greenie and I have been very fussy with, then you can be proud with who you're partnered with. Obviously, OKX, great platform, doesn't do anything shady. They do their due diligence. Took us ages, Greenie, the conversations back and forth, their lawyers. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes with a big company like that, a big brand, to make sure, as a creator, you're above board and not doing anything dodgy, the terminology you can use. So partnering with a brand like that, I think what you said, James, it actually gives more credibility to you as a creator, because that brand's actually done their due diligence. I mean, we had to have background checks, police checks, so you couldn't. So in other words, to go with them, you had to be solid.
Well, I mean, like, to add a point to that, the indemnity, I fuck up my words so regularly these days, Greg. The indemnity clause as well on our side to partner with these exchanges is nuts too. Like, and that only eventuates once you trust like the people you partner with, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I mean, it's a crazy world, the whole influencer world and paid marketing. It's very much become like the focal point of marketing these days. And I mean, like, you can even look at other crypto companies partnering with sport athletes, with influencers, with other people outside of crypto. It seems to be a big shift at the moment with a lot of companies that I see on my timeline and across Instagram and stuff, is they want to be partnering with people outside of crypto, which is really interesting. Do you think that works, boys? Do you think marketing with, like, say you're a crypto exchange and you partner with a sport athlete, do you really think that like is a good way to spend marketing dollars? Do you think that translates to back to people joining your platform and spending money on the platform, or do you think it's a waste of money?
Yes or no? I would say, first of all, obviously everything is worth it at the right price, right? So that, I think we can all agree. If you pay someone $10 billion, it's not worth it for anybody. If you can pay Messi $1 to do something, it's worth it, right? But that aside, I think that it's not so much as a conversion in terms of ROI, and it's more of a trust factor, right? Like the people that they're marketing to for Coinbase or Coinbase One to come deposit on Coinbase, like it's they're they're gonna get Coinbase fees off it. Yes. Do they get that same dollar back in ROI? Maybe not, but they're competing with other platforms that are doing, outside of Web3 marketing with our favorite athletes, whoever it may be. And it's like a level playing field. You almost have to do it. But I think it's it's trust. I think that it's trust. And you say, look, just like we're saying right now, there's DD done between partnerships at the level that we work with these companies. Now imagine a professional athlete that's worth $1 billion that says, I'm going to work with this exchange. He's putting a lot of trust, or she, into the platform, and vice versa. So I read a really great tweet maybe yesterday or 2 days ago from Emilios. If you guys know who Emilios is?
Yeah.
He's
Legend.
probably the most interesting mind on CT for me. His brain is exquisite. He has incredible ways of talking about very, very deep things in which ways I would never think about. And essentially, someone made a complaint about losing. Yeah, there you go. Losing reputation on Ethos because of the whale slash, right? And they kind of said, look, I made a review 6 months ago about him and just said he was a great creator and a cool guy and I like him. And now there's a slash and I lose reputation. It shouldn't be this way, right? And then there was this big dialogue, and essentially it was a comment. I don't know if we'll see the tweet. Maybe we will. I'm not sure if it was a tweet or not. But essentially it was really, really bang on, because when people decide to work in crypto or in any space and do partnerships or collabs, it's a balance of risk reward. And the balance of risk reward is risk, reputation, reward, money. And what's the balance of how much do I trust this company? Is it worth my time and my bandwidth to do this? But at the same time, how much reputation risk am I taking? What's the chance that they fuck up and this backfires on me? And it was a very astute comment. And of course, from him, it was probably 2 or 3 paragraphs. And it was a super, super easy way for people to be like, yeah, if you look at it that way, like the value that the company is getting is the promotion. The value that you're getting is the money from that. And the trade-off is, okay, the premium you charge is how risky it is, right?
Yeah.
So a company that's very established will usually pay less money in marketing than a company that's a startup per se, right? Because they already have established reputation, they have better connections, there is less brand risk essentially to work with them. Whereas if it's a new dodgy something that's, undoxed and nobody knows about them and they're really trying to get out there, they're going to have to pay a premium for people and they're going to have to ask a lot of people because a lot of people will say no. Yeah. So it was just a really good way to say, like, the trade-off is risking my audience and my reputation and my future potential earnings for money right now. And that's the balancing act of not just being an influencer, but of marketing as a whole.
Yeah, very fair take. Emilios is a great follow. Highly recommend that, guys. Let's talk about you, Jamesy. What's your story? Rocketed up to 120K followers, nearly in the space of, what are we, 26? So 5 years, 4 years. Talk to us a little bit about your journey in the influencer space of CT.
Right? Hardly. I'm not an influencer, bro. I'm just a dude. I'm just a penguin. I really like. I wish I didn't have that many followers. Oftentimes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My story. Wow. I started off on CT at least, not in crypto. I was in crypto before that, but yeah, in mid 2021. I bought an NFT for no other reason because I was just on the internet and somehow fell down a rabbit hole. I don't really remember exactly why. Called Koala Agent or Koala KIA Koala Intelligence Agency.
I
I
remember
bought
them.
2 of them. I bought 2 of them for, I want to say it was like 0.1 ETH at the time, and they went to like almost 1 ETH before it rugged. And I was a fucking genius, bro. I put $1,000 into crypto, and I turned it into like 6 Gs or something like that. And I was like, man, why are my friends all wage cucks and like I'm gonna quit my job and do this and then I got rugged and I went down to 0. But that was my first step into kind of like this world of crypto and community and NFTs, which really resonated with me because I'm a huge gamer. I have been my whole life. I still am. And the whole idea of, guilds or communities in this online capacity, always running, always evolving, always people coming and going, that's very fascinating to me. And there's a big draw there for me. So as soon as I joined the Discord for that NFT project, I was hooked, man. I was hooked on the community aspect right away. And then from there, I've learned more about crypto and the tech, and I got more excited about, what the actual blockchain is and what it does and how it can empower different types of companies and yada yada yada. But essentially, it was just the community aspect. And that's when in 2021, when I started getting into NFTs. I got hired as a mod for a project that eventually I started helping them do some marketing. I ended up leaving them and they rugged it a while later. Well, semi-rugged it, I guess. But and from there, I kind of just was like, no. I'm not going to be working for other people like this in a capacity where I can't control. I always want to have control of my own thoughts, words, projects, whatever it may be. And I just put my head down and I started grinding, man. And I was working full time while doing this, and I started flipping apes. And basically, I think the first kind of big come up in terms of like follower growth was definitely when I joined Bored Apes and I started flipping and OTCing a bunch of apes. There were a couple guys that were flipping apes like 10 times the amount that I was. It was very, very motivating and cool to see. But I got to a point where I had a couple apes, a couple mutants. Like I had a pretty fucking solid NFT portfolio that I made flipping NFTs. Like my big come up always will be, unless I do something crazy, flipping apes. That's where I made crazy money in 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
Like there were nights where I woke up listing an ape. I woke up and I made 25 ETH overnight with a flip. Like crazy, right? That's 100 grand.
Yeah.
But the market is so different now. It's obviously not like that. But this is when apes were trading at like 100, 150 ETH, right? Like I bought my first actual ape. I had a bunch of mutants. But my first ape, the day after ApeCoin dropped, apes were trading at 150 ETH. Whew. The day the claim went live, they went down to 85 ETH. I bought one at about the bottom. And from there, I was able to capture like a pretty big, like 15, 20 ETH swing back to like a little bit more of the equilibrium where they were kind of valued. And I just started fucking flipping apes, man. And I made some great money, but I made a lot of friends and a lot of connections.
Yeah.
And that was my come up. My come up was NFTs, was flipping apes, but not just apes, all NFTs. I was trading small cap NFTs. I was minting things. There's some mints back in the days. I know Craig kind of was at the tail end of things, but if you remember Fishy Fam, I think I made like 15 or 18 ETH on the mint day with like we were sniping traits, right? Like so basically back then the tools weren't as sophisticated as they are now.
Yeah.
So you're like refreshing on this little one-page URL bot that just shows you the metadata, and you're refreshing like 20 tabs trying to be like which one's gonna have a rare trait, and then it hits, and then you bid, and like it was so different than how automated things are now, and like how you can just outgas people, and how the bots are very sophisticated. It was very manual, very laborious, but very lucrative if you were willing to put in the time. And since then, I think in 2022 or early 23, no, 2022, Dre's and I launched OCB as kind of this community where we wanted to. We had so many people always coming to us asking us, what we're buying, what we're selling, where we think the market's going, yada yada yada. And we're like, why don't we just centralize this hive mind of information, people, research, and create a community? Again, going back to where I love community. OCB is still going. I mean, this is 4 years, almost 5 years now that it's been going. It still runs. It's so fucking cool. There's people that have been in there since the start. There's people that are still joining to the day. I'm a little bit less hands-on with OCB now in the last year or two, but it's so fucking cool to see that something from literally 2022 is running in 2026. There's not a lot of people that can boast that, but it has nothing to do with me or with Hydrace, to be honest. It's the community, man. The community runs itself, and when you have a group of people that do well for each other, and I'm not talking financially, I'm talking about treat each other well and are kind to each other.
Yeah,
bro, it's cool, man. And there are people that have gone through fucking weddings, divorces, babies, stillbirth. I have so many cool friends through crypto, through Twitter, through OCB. It's way more than just trading or money or any of that BS that we obviously log in to do. It's community, man. It's cool. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my come up. My come up was NFTs, man, and that's where my heart will always lie. I know we're gonna get to the point of where do we see the markets going? Where do we make money? Yada yada yada. It's funny because I did a podcast with actually with someone from OKX a couple months ago, and he asked me a question, basically being like, where do you make all your money? And I thought about it, and I gave him a shitty answer, and then I came back to him the next day, and I said, this is where I think I make money, because I'm very good at capturing these plays that are at what I call escape velocity. So there are so many times in the last 5 years where I've bought things that have ended up doing so well, and I could have made millions of dollars, but I've lost money on it because I'm too early, and I size in too early, and then I get too panicked with the movements, the price action of whatever it is, whether it's coins, NFTs, stocks, all that bullshit. But where I found I've made the most money, and this is where I can go back to Bored Apes, for example, or the best coin that I ever traded was Pepe. It's this idea of this curve where you have this initial interest curve, you have the spike, and then it dies down, right? And that's where you can say community is formed, or ideas are established, or adoption happens, right? And that's where I like to kind of monitor. And I don't like to buy in that early phase anymore. I get burnt too much, and I have ADD. I'll trade out and I'll lose every time. But after that spike where I go, this is a really cool concept, idea, whatever it is, that first huge dip where there's consolidation for days or weeks, that's where I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Because that's how I caught Pepe. And when we caught Pepe, it was weeks and weeks of just the price action was not reflecting the amount of chatter and people talking about this thing. And I'm like, man, at one point this has to fucking blow off the top, right? Something has to come. And that's what I call the kind of escape velocity, that parabolic second bump where all of a sudden it just takes a couple little catalysts or a couple people and all of a sudden all of that chatter becomes momentum on a chart, and all of a sudden, boom. So it's funny because I lose a lot of money, bro. I lose a lot.
We all do. We all do.
I'm a gambler. I sports gamble. I gamble on coins. I gamble on NFTs. I gamble on people. But my way of making money has been in the last 5 years hitting a big enough play that can bankroll a lot of small risks or gambles. But calculated, where I know what my bankroll is. I know how many shots I have to take, with size, and one of them has to hit. And I don't make I see some of these guys that trade and can consistently make money every single day or every third, and I'm just like, that's crazy. I've never been able to do that. I can't do that.
There's
but
people.
I find.
No, you
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, people in my trading community, they can do that. I can't do that. I wish I could, but I'm more of a swing trader on a high time frame. And it's funny you mentioned Pepe because Craig and I are also very similar. We're just accumulating Pepe in early 24, late 23, before it blew up into the $1 billion range. I want to ask you, what is there a play right now that you think is an opportunity that maybe will come back, maybe in months, maybe in a couple of years' time, that seems very obvious now and will end very well? Like, is there something on your radar right now in that capacity?
It's funny. That OKX interview that I did, he asked me the same thing, and I said Aster. It was at about 40 cents, and it went up. So I kept getting DMs from all the people that watch the podcast, being like, "What's the next one? What's the next one?"
Yeah.
Honestly, right now, I don't have one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty passively watching right now. Not just crypto, but like the world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on, good and bad, and I just don't know where things are going in the next 6 months, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not even trading perps right now for the most part, unless I find something really juicy and quick. I don't know what the next 6 months look like, and that's reflected in all the treasury yields all over the world right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, but like beyond just the financial markets and what they're pricing in, I really don't know where the world's going right now, and it's kind of sad to say that because it's pretty fucked up what's going on in the world in a lot of places. And the issue that I have with, like, if I did think there was a play, I don't, but if I did, is that today I might think it's that. Well, I do have one for you, actually. I do have one for you.
Okay.
It's something that I'm buying, so I'm happy talking about. Hyperliquid.
Okay. I'm patient. I think it goes lower first.
There's a chance we see single digits.
Yes, I agree. I do agree with you.
If Bitcoin, if we have a really bad 6 months, we could see $8 or $9. But I also think it could have some sort of resurrection like Solana.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing that I'm slowly buying, and I definitely am way too sized into it in the beginning because I've never sold my Hyperliquid. I've just bought and accumulated. So at 60, which I obviously sold. But I think Hyperliquid, as a token for me, again, never financial advice, never tell anybody what to do. I like Hyperliquid in the long run. I think that when we start seeing, which I mean, most of us probably agree, Bitcoin will hit highs one day. I don't know if it's tomorrow or if it's in 5 years. I think it's probably going to happen, right? Yeah, that's ugly, right? That's ugly. So right now, yeah, we need a reclaim for sure of like $25, $26. But that's why right now I'm not even looking at it on like that time frame where it's just like by the next 4 years. I think Hyperliquid will be trading higher than it is today. Maybe it takes a year, maybe it takes 4, but I do think that that's something where I'm putting my money where my mouth is. But beyond that, there's not a lot that I'm looking at buying for anything longer than like quick flips.
Is that because you're bearish and you think we are heading into a bear market, or is that because of, as you said before, global, just like not really a clear direction, which I would very much agree with? I think there's a lot happening worldwide that is a little bit uneasy, and we're very much in a bubble and have been in a bubble probably since 2008 in a range of different ways. If you look at gold hitting all-time highs, silver hitting all-time highs, crypto hitting all-time highs a couple months back, stocks hitting all-time highs, S&P
every day, right? Every fucking day. These
crazy, bro. So like, what's your analysis there? Like, obviously you've told us a little bit of your past before the show. Like you would talk with people that I don't talk with. So what do they think? What do you think? Like that happens at least in 26, maybe 2027.
It's funny because in when there's market talk, you get people that are calling for everything.
Yeah,
people that are calling for 2,000 S&P, people that are calling for 10,000 S&P, right? And everything in between. Am I bearish? Not necessarily bearish, but the way that I like to approach things is kind of like on a 100% scale. Like, what's the chance of what's the bear case, and not the chance of bear case, what the number is going to be, just what's the chance of bear case happening? And I think that's higher than 50% right now.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make me bearish. I mean, we could wake up tomorrow, Jeremy Powell's fired, Trump's hired whichever new Fed chair he wants, and they're going to drop rates by 200 basis points, and we fucking fly, right? But in the long run, that's not healthy for the economy either. But at the same time, that's where it's like when you talk these future outlooks, it's based on today's data right now. But that can change in an instant, and that's why I don't try and take, like, that's where a lot of analysts get it wrong. Because they make a call and they say, we're going to see Google at X dollars by the end of this year. And I actually think it's a great technical call. But the fundamentals change tomorrow, right? And now that call he's going to be called out for being an idiot because Google goes down all year. But it has nothing to do. He was right at the time with the information at hand. He was right. So I'm not bearish or bullish. I'm really in this state of I don't know what the fuck's going on. There's actually for the first time in a long time, I'm confused with what's going on. Some of these things don't make sense from historic measures of movements and correlations, direct and indirect correlations in different types of assets. I mean, even yesterday I was talking about, okay, so if Bitcoin is a risk asset, why isn't it moving like one? And if it's not a risk asset and it's a hedge to risk, why isn't it moving like gold and silver, right? What is Bitcoin? Where does it fall right now? Like, I don't even know as an asset where I would place Bitcoin right now. And that's not just Bitcoin. I'm looking at commodities, right? And I'm saying, wow, man, if you look at the volatility of oil over the last couple of years, like what the fuck? It's crazy, man. Like just we're having these crazy movements where we're having stocks all-time highs, but barrels of oils are trading. Like there's just this dissonance in what normally has historical cyclicality to it, where you can kind of have these leading and lagging indicators that say usually the flows are going to be from here to here to here to here. Here's the market cycle. And I'm looking at this and I'm just saying, like, what the fuck's going on? And that's because of all this outside stimulus and geopolitical BS and all this other stuff. But that's where I don't pretend to know the future, right? Because all of these things are being driven by shit that is like very unpredictable. I think Trump can make decisions on a whim that can change many things. Look at the tariffs yesterday, or maybe that was 2 days ago. We went from 92K Bitcoin to 87 back to 90 within like, was it 3 hours? Because he said, 10% tariffs on all these countries that don't want Greenland to be taken over, and then tariffs are off. Like these are not reflective of true fundamentals. Nothing changed in those 3 hours in the world or for the companies or for the stocks, but it's driven by uncontrollable shit. Black box, Pandora's box. So your question, to come back to it in a very roundabout way, is I don't know what I am right now. I'm allocated in the market, but I'm not fully allocated in the market. I probably would say I'm 65% allocated.
Wow, that's more than me. That's definitely more than me.
Yeah, but I'm a time in the market, Trump's time in the market type of person.
That's probably fair. Yeah.
And I'm talking spot. So don't get me wrong. I have like a whole nother piece of what I like to do, and that's more my risky gambling / really, really torquey, like meme coins, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm talking spot. I'm talking like stocks, Bitcoin, like I don't try and time the market, because guess what? A year ago, I was saying we should have a fucking 20% pullback in stocks. Now the S&P is trading at all-time highs, right?
That's right.
I don't know, and nobody else knows. I think that if you try to time the market, it just makes your life miserable. Even if you get it right, you stress every single fucking day over trying to get it right. And most times you don't get it right. So I'm allocated to the market, but I'm absolutely expecting a pullback on the stock market. I mean, last year. So anytime now.
Yeah. Let's shift focus to growing a brand. How would you say someone should go about growing a brand in, say, CT, maybe outside of CT? We can talk about that after, but on CT seems to be the focus of crypto creators at the moment. How would you go about growing a brand if you were starting from zero today?
Okay, that's a good question. And you're asking like personally how I would do it?
Yeah, or what do you think the method is? Or how would you go about it then? Maybe what the consensus could potentially be.
There's different methods. That's why I usually steer clear from this question. I'll come back to it in a second. I steer clear from this question because there's different ways to grow. There's ways that really lean into like short-term growth and help you grow, but stunt growth in the long run, and vice versa. And I mean, a really good example of that is InfoFi, right?
Yeah.
InfoFi is a great case study right now for people that either started accounts or had somewhat accounts that leaned into InfoFi, but made it their entire being.
Yeah.
And leaned into it and built their audience on only InfoFi, right? But now that InfoFi has dried out, I mean, personally, myself, my engagement has gone down tremendously, right? Like, I probably am getting 30 or 40% less views on my tweets. I'm absolutely getting way less comments. And I knew when it was InfoFi that people were trying to farm my mind share. I mean, I was making tweets about it saying, "Stop asking me for follows, stop trying to farm me. Like I don't want this."
Yeah.
But there was a huge subset of people on CT that were trying to engage and comment on people's tweets.
Yeah.
That were either sharing the same InfoFi project they're trying to farm, or they were just trying to grow and farm followers and grow their mind share and their stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a great case study in hindsight, because in the long run, it's not good. The people that only like, I'm fortunate and I had people reading my tweets and commenting on them before, and I will after, and I still do now.
Yeah.
And those numbers will change through different metas, right? And I've gone from NFTs to meme coins to like you just bounce around and follow the metas.
Exactly.
But people that, especially InfoFly, because it was very socially oriented into like the engagement, people saw really big numbers and views and followers, and now they're seeing a huge drop off. And it just goes to show you that's what I mean by short term. I don't mean like 1 day or 1 week or 1 month. I mean, InfoFi lasted a year and a half, right? But the people that made that their entire brand are now I'm having conversations with, and some of them I'm great friends with, right?
Yeah.
But they're kind of coming to me. They're saying like, "What do I do?"
Yeah, I thought about it.
What do I do?
We spoke about this, Craig. Like there's and I respect, they're saying, I'm not going to call him out, but there's a guy who literally built his whole brand on it. He's managed to kind of shift away from InfoFi specifically, but his whole brand, his whole followers are based on InfoFi, and he's going to struggle now that that is no longer a meta, right? Like I'm just out of curiosity was having a look at my engagement, because as you said, Jamesy, like I'm someone that loves to trade metas, talk about metas, meme coins, ordinals, NFTs, airdrops, DeFi, InfoFi, whatever it is, I'm there. Really interestingly, my engagement rate has increased since about November. Impressions always, again, like depends how engagement bait I really want to be on my posts, but they've kind of been really similar since about November. But really interestingly, my engagement arguably has actually gone up since January last year. So that's really interesting behind the scenes.
But that's sick for you, and that means you didn't lean into it too much, right? Yeah. Where there are obviously people that will always come and go from CT, and those people will follow people, et cetera, et cetera. But your brand is obviously more than that. So there are people right now that are kind of asking themselves or asking me and other people, like, what do I do? And my easiest answer is go have fun. Like, obviously we all want to make money, but like if you're not having fun, first of all, people can smell that, right? And then you just come off as shilly. So I'm going to come back to your question right now. What would I do if I wanted to grow a brand on Twitter right now? Yeah. Okay. I would log in. I'd make a Twitter account. I think the first and most important thing before you want thousands, find people that are cool. And it's like, okay, where do I start? How do I do that? Whatever. Like, yeah, you have to start posting. And yes, there's a slog in the beginning. And yes, you got to go follow a bunch of people and comment on their things to like have them recognize you. But there's a way to do that with like thoughtful and provocative conversation that actually like shows a little bit of intelligence or shows a little bit of curiosity. And it's not just like, hey, bro, when follow back. I would just say, honest to God, I would log in. I'm a shithead, man. I'm just a shithead, right? I would try and make people laugh. I'd go on their tweets. I would have this mix of banter and thoughtful conversation on them. And I just start posting things that I'm doing in Twitter. Same as you. I do a lot of broad scope things. I do a lot of DeFi. I do meme coins. And I just try different niches. And I'd say what's sticking, what's not. I would make sure that I'm tweeting about shit that I'm enjoying, that I'm already doing. Because at the end of the day, it's so fucking easy to tweet when you're tweeting about things that you're doing.
Exactly.
Because you're already doing them. You don't have to go read a new white paper to make it up and try and be a blockchain forensics guy. You don't have to go read a new this and try and make up a fake tweet. Like, you are doing it. I'm pressing the buttons. I'm on the platforms. All I got to do is screenshot and say, by the way, I changed my strategy today. My single-sided LP here wasn't happy with it, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So I think there's two ways to grow a band. I think there's one way that's just a generic approach to finding where you land. And I think that the other way, and I think this is probably the better way to grow, and the best account I can think of right now is Hype Economist. Are you guys familiar with him?
No.
Okay, so he's got a super, I think it's a he actually, I'm not sure. They have a really, really, really cool account. It's a hyperliquid account. And basically, their account was launched and they just became a hyperliquid Maxi, engage with everybody on Hyperliquid, post everything on Hyperliquid, follow wallets on Hyperliquid, and they became a go-to for Hyperliquid, right? And essentially, what I'm saying is become the person that someone wants to go to for that vertical that you enjoy, whatever the fuck it is. And if you're really good at DeFi, make it DeFi. If you're really good at meme coins, make it meme coins. A lot of people that have breakthrough growth, I think, in 2025, because I've kind of looked at this and thought about this. A lot of the people are people that focused on one single protocol and became masters of the protocol.
Yeah.
Masters, right? Like, I mean, even look at Bread Guy with Mega ETH.
Yeah.
Like even big people that have big breakthroughs beyond breakthroughs. Like, these are people that just become the go-to goats for their respective areas. And whether that's through news, whether that's through anecdotal, experience, whether that's through research, I figure out what works and what doesn't work. Again, going back to what makes you excited. If you're someone who loves to write long form research, fucking do it. People will like it. If you don't force yourself, man. You're just going to fucking burn out. But I think that the best way, if you can find something that you're actually really excited about and you can become more knowledgeable than 99% of people on, you can go into one single thing and just become a fucking dummy goat for it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's great. I think growing in public, and as you say, right, growing in public in a niche, and you just double down on that niche as long as it stays long term in the market. That's the other thing you got to be aware of is if like, for example, you think back to plenty of examples. If you're an ordinals guy, it was
Blast.
Yeah, Blast, great example. Where it was like, yeah, for a few months you were the top dog. Everyone wanted to know what you're talking about, why you're talking about it, and then all of a sudden it went to zero, and you're a nobody, right? So you do need to be careful. And I always think of people like Leon, like Crypto Leon, who's so young, like he's 18, but he was a Blast guy, then he was an abstract guy, but he's become bigger than that. He's like just market commentary. He's a young guy. Like he does so well for being 18. Like I'm 12 years older than him. And he dominates. Like, I would have never had that level of understanding, maturity, ability to probably write in a way that people understand as well. So I look at people like that who adapt over time, and they're the ones that are going to be huge in 5-10 years time, right? Because they just keep going with the flow. And I think that's a strategy.
You nailed it, though.
What'd you say?
You nailed it. You nailed it. That's where you will see the same people on CT for a very long time, because all of the people that seem to rise up to a certain degree of influence or of noise around them, they're the people that learn how to double down in areas that help them, whether it's financially or grow an audience, but they also know how to leverage that and take that in and only use it as a stepping stone. It's not the final goal. And you're so right. If you make every single thing about you in whatever respective area and it crashes, it's kind of like this InfoFi thing we're saying, where it's like, well, now you're lost. Who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Do I even enjoy it here? And that's why I think people that have a broad love or love, maybe not the right word, passion or excitement for crypto or blockchain in general, those are the people that, even if you turn around and double down, let's say Hype Economist, for example, right, on Hyperliquid. Let's say Hyperliquid blew up tomorrow. I think that they've now shown enough people that they have quite a good idea of how to look at a protocol, what to look for, the way that they make dialogue, the way they make friends. They could pivot to anything and do it again, right? I don't think everyone has that skill set. And I think that people are too myopic and they would focus too much on just that one thing. That's the end goal for them. But it's always a stepping stone of growth, right? Because as a person, I mean, look at founders of companies. Like these founders found many companies before they get to their end goal. Like, this is what life is. It's a culmination of experience and of
failure.
Doing, where 1,000% of failure, lots of failure, and then you finally get to this next step, and you think and then it's the same thing. It's failure, it's experience, it's growth, and it's just a cycle of like chasing personal growth. And I think that that's a really good point of like, if you want to succeed beyond crypto, in my opinion, but building a brand anywhere, it's growth. You always have to be hungry to grow, to learn. If you're not staying, up with what's going on right now in terms of trends and ongoing news and things in the market, you're going to fall behind. People aren't going to want to hear what you have to say about last month. They want to know what's going on now. So you got to be hungry, man. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it's consistent. I mean, like similar story to you. I was in crypto since 2016, making money, losing money, getting scammed, everything like that. But I didn't start my CT journey till late 22, early 2023. So, I mean, everything I've achieved is just this cycle only on CT. I mean, Craig, you were a little bit earlier than me, 2021, 2022 sort of era. So it's ever changing, and I think it's an exciting place to certainly be. Craig, do you have a topic you want to discuss or question?
I just want to ask Jamesy, because he was pretty big in the info fire. What did you think when Twitter, or X, if you want to call that now, effectively just shut that down overnight? What were your initial thoughts? Because I know you were on all the leaderboards, dude. Like, you were kicking ass. So you'd be the one person that you think financially, with that going away, you might be like, damn it, I wish they had stayed. But I actually think you might answer differently. What's your take on that disappearing?
Yeah, literally my first thought was, damn, feel bad for the companies that were building an InfoFi, because
Yeah.
that's one thing where like there's like systemic risk, right? And that's just not something that you really think exists, like this ability for your business to just disappear overnight. And I know that they're all trying to pivot, but there's some really cool companies that were trying to do really cool things that are like, of course, there's the social fi and there's the farming aspect, but there's so much more to it. Like the on-chain reputation and the way that they're trying to score people and see through the noise of, you know, who's who and who actually has influence, and it's very fascinating to me. And I think that it's going to be very well missed, like the X API, because I think that that's a very integral piece of that puzzle. But yeah, of course I'm bummed. I mean, there were some great projects on InfoFi. Great projects on InfoFi. I got an airdrop this morning of $5,000 from Fight ID. I mean, like, I get to talk about the UFC and get an airdrop of $5,000. Like, that's fucking crazy to me. So definitely, I understand. I think I understand why Nikita nuked it. There was an obvious plague of AI and AI slop and farming going on. And like, I mean, I was at the point where I made a graphic. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I made a picture of the penguin that said, if you are receiving this, you are either asking for a follow back or for money. Please leave me alone. Be a normal person. And I just started sending this to people because I was getting in my DMs and in Telegram and on my tweets, and people were saying, follow me back and give me engagement. And I'm just like, bros, like, this is not what this shit's about. Like, what the fuck? So honestly, InfoFi, I think there's a lot of merit to it, and I think it's going to come back in a way that's going to be a little bit different, like an iteration of it per se. But where it was going was just it was in a bad place.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was not really. I mean, I look at it from the marketing side of things, right? I think in the beginning, getting listed on an InfoFi platform, I guess in the beginning was just Kaito, was really cool and got you a lot of exposure, got you a lot of economic inflow and a lot of noise on Twitter. I think if you got the same listing on an InfoFi platform, you know, a week before Nikita nuked it, it was maybe 1/5 as powerful, maybe even less.
Less.
So even less, right? So let's be generous and say it's 1/5, 20% of, right? Like, the ROI for the company who's basically saying part of our budget's going to be marketing with InfoFi. We're going to take X amount of dollars and allocate it there, but you're only getting 1/5 of the results. So where we were justifying it 1 year ago, how can we justify that now, right? So I think that it sucks in the short term for a lot of people. It doesn't make or break my life in any way. Of course, it's fun, and I get to talk about projects and like, free money is free money. It's the freest money ever. And this is what I kept telling people for the last year. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened on the internet that I've seen, because there's never been such a democratized free way to make so much money by just clicking buttons. There's no economic risk. You just were able to log in, tweet, and make money, right? That was very cool. That concept of making money. I know a lot of people are like side hustles and e-com, and those things don't really work for a vast majority of people. Whereas InfoFi did. People monetized InfoFi. People living in third world countries were making families wages, like 10 years of wages from airdrops. So that part is super cool. But I think that it needed a reset. I think that it had gotten out of hand.
Mhm.
And I think this next iteration is going to be this culmination of kind of what the experience was for the year there, how to tie that more into economic output or benefit for the products that are hiring the companies that have leaderboards, et cetera. And how do you tie that into real people, right? So real people, verifiably real people that are actually benefiting a platform, whether it's through on-chain metrics. But that's what people don't get, right? Everybody wants the free money from InfoFi, but that's where I think they're when Zeet came out, I really liked when Zeet came out because
Same.
they started adding these on-chain factors. So it's like
Same.
you can talk about it and get some points, but you can get a lot of points if you also do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Go claim the badge, go do this, go do that, go do volume. Like
Yeah.
these are the metrics that either are vanity metrics and let companies raise at higher valuations based on the numbers, or two, actually are economically benefiting the company. If you're doing volume on a perps dex, you're paying fees, right? So like there are ways to quantify the value with on-chain participation. So we're going to see something cool come out of it. I don't think all those companies are just going to turn over and say it's done. But I think that where it had gotten pretty nasty, to be honest. And my feed, like for the first day or two, I was not sure about how I felt. My feed is so much better than it was a week ago. And like I said, my engagement's down. I probably get half the comments I was getting 1 week ago.
Interesting.
But a lot of those people were people trying to farm me for mindshare.
Yeah,
Right?
of course. Yeah.
And I already recognize that, and that's why it was a little bit annoying. Like I don't really care for that. I don't really want that, to be honest with you.
Do you think the X side of it with replies no longer counting towards payouts as well definitely
Huge.
impacts that?
Huge, 1000%. And I love this change. And
Mhm.
I still see people on the timeline saying I was just about to get monetized. It's like I don't think they realize that 5 million impressions a month pays you like $50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
it's very
you could
little.
literally go work at Macca's and make that in a shift
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
And work and like the amount of time that you have to put in to get those, like it's just it doesn't make sense.
No.
Right? So I think that, and again with this ad disclosure thing that we talked about earlier too, I think that Nikita is, I don't think he's targeting CT, but I think CT is definitely this little sample community that he's making changes based off of. I think there's a bot problem beyond CT. It's not just AI slop on CT. It's on everything. I see it everywhere. But like I got to the point where I was writing tweets that were actually meant to like bait bots into making, the bots that answer with a question of whatever you're tweeting every time.
Yeah.
But I'd tweet like something really hilarious, and at the end, like I don't know if you saw my vet joke yesterday. It's like, oh
I
no,
did.
my friend lost his job, and he had sex with a patient, he was a vet. And the bots would be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about your friend losing their job," and I'm like, "Clanker, clanker,
That's
clanker,
good,
block,
bro. I
block,
watched.
block." Right? So like, yeah, your question, I guess, to come back to is, how do I feel about InfoFi? I don't think it's gone. I think that InfoFi, like the way that I look at it, it's like the financialization of spreading. It's marketing. It's just marketing. It's a fancy word for marketing. And I think that it will iterate again. People will be able to earn money again, whether it's through putting some of their own skin in the game, because that's how you have to do it. Maybe, I don't know. But it's not going anywhere. Do I miss being able on leaderboards and just making claims all the time? Absolutely, I'll miss that. Don't get me wrong, right? I'd be an idiot to say no. But I'll say, even personally, I haven't said this out loud yet, but I think it's even a little bit good for me. There were points in the last year where I started leaning into it too much. And I kept pulling myself out of it, being like, whoa, relax. Like just talk about the things that you're using or that you like. And then I see something shiny, like, oh, I'm gonna go talk about that. There's times where I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I? No, don't do that shit, right? So even for me, it's just this little like dangly carrot that was always kind of there. And it's actually been a nice change for the last week to not have any of those distractions being like, oh, I got to go tweet on that, stay on the top of that leaderboard. Like I want that airdrop, It's actually been a little bit refreshing for me.
I agree. I mean, like, it's nice. And I was the same. I was like, look, I could chase this. I could use the following I've got to farm all of these opportunities, or I could use the ones that I'm genuinely interested in or that I'm currently using every day. And that's like, for example, the Myriad Markets one on Zeet. I finished like third, I think. So I just had a look.
Oh,
I think I'm
sick.
40 million or 20 million points. Like that'll put me literally inside the top 50 on the whole platform now. Just
Yeah, you're gonna get a nice airdrop. Yeah.
dude, that's good. Like like that's what and again, that was backed off on-chain volume as well as tweeting about what I was doing. I was like, oh, just took these particular prediction markets, just lost money here or just made money here. Like I think that is the area that excites me about hopefully maybe we see a shift in InfoFi to on-chain reputation backed in with the marketing side of it all. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that definitely expands in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted to ask as well, pivoting from, well, with obviously InfoFi closing down for now or going quiet for now, Jency, I know you're with Reach, so is Greeny. Does that make it more imperative for a creator to have an agency on their behalf, helping them with deal flow and things like that now? Because with InfoFi disappearing, does that leave? Well, it does. Does it leave a hole whereby now companies or products need to find some other way to connect to creators?
Greedy, you want to take that?
I think yes. I think it's important that you understand the direction that these marketing teams have. I think the important part is not going down the route which we've kind of talked about this week of just becoming a brand that is purely marketing. I think there's a big and that's not the company, that's not Reach or AP Collective, all of those different companies. It's the creator needs to be aware of the balance. And we speak about this often, Craig. Like, if you want to create content and continue, I mean, James's kind of reiterated that point today. If you want to grow consistently on CT and crypto, a portfolio as well, you need to be adaptive. You need to go with the trends, be open to things that worked in the past, no longer work in the future. And that's the same in a marketing and a content sort of side of things as well, right? Not only trading and making money. So for me, I think it's great that they I know one of the founders well, like he lives close by. We'll go for dinner next week. But like, I think there's a balance. I think the creator needs to be aware, like a Whale Swoosh, ISOBeast, a Bandit, like these guys who are at the top, right? Who really have that market share, who are very much like, yeah, we are the paid people for a lot of these sort of posts. They need to be careful that they don't just become a marketing account, because people like me who are a little bit more switched on go, well, I'm not really interested in following you anymore, because the hard work you're putting in is to be paid. It's not free alpha. It's not like an on-chain trend that you found early. It's not a meme coin that you think will run up because of X, Y, Z. It's not a new NFT collection. It's not a new DeFi protocol. It's not hyper liquid early anymore. So for me, I'm like, I'm going to turn notifications on. I'm going to probably mute you. Not that I disrespect the journey that you're taking for your brand and for your creator journey, but for me specifically, that's not what I curate Twitter for. As Jamesy said, I like to have fun on there. I like to connect with people on there. Us three wouldn't have met without CT, right? So I like to make money on there, but I also like to curate my informational flow. I have notifications on for certain accounts that'll tell me news, that'll give me trading updates, that'll give me confluence in the way that I like to trade, that'll give me maybe early alpha or an early meme coin alpha that I know they have a historical record of being in the right communities or knowing the right people. And I think that applies to the same marketing sense is when I think about creating content, I could partner with all these different companies, all these different projects, but I've knocked back deals because I'm like, one, I don't even know what that is. Two, I probably wouldn't even use it. Three, I wouldn't really want to support it. So four, why would I want to tweet about it for $500 or $1,000, right? So as I said earlier, like I only really ever partner with OKX or exchanges like Bybit where I trade perps because I use the product and I like the product. So I want other people to use the products that I have vetted myself, that I've vetted the teams, that I've worked with for ages. And that's the way I think that people need to be careful. Find a balance with your content creation, but there's definitely an area for you to partner with these companies because they are going to give you good opportunities. Like, I mean, without Reach, I wouldn't have had a lot of opportunities to work with some of these huge companies, right? And I love that. And I think that's a great opportunity for me moving forward as a content creator. But you got to be careful that you don't just become a shill product brand. And I think that's the dangerous part. I'm seeing a lot of those top InfoFi guys and the top even creators on AP Collective and Reach and stuff who are getting near that stage where you need to be careful. You really do need to be careful.
I think you've got to be careful not to become a walking billboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. where you're walking around like a F1, whatever, and you've got just sponsors all over you, basically what politicians should have on their shirts.
Yeah.
I think you run the risk then, and I think that's what you're speaking about, Greenie, and that's what I said about, Whale and stuff like that was, I don't know if you'll get him for 1,000x now following him because his viewership's so high. So by the time he posts a tweet, it's too late. And you also know probably financially he's been incentivized to post that. So it takes it becomes a bit more disingenuous. And then I think you can lose, mind share from there. So it's super risky. Well, not risky. It's something that I think as a creator, you have to, and I think that's what James's kind of going all the way back to what he said at the start. Talk about what you love. And then if you end up being paid for talking about what you love, that's like that's the creamy spot, right? Because then if anyone says to you, you took money for that product, you could turn around and go, yeah, but I effort that product. I love that product. I use that product. And if I use it and love it, and I love talking about it, there's nothing disingenuous about getting money versus not really liking the product, never using it, but then they come along and go, Craig, if you wouldn't mind just putting up an undisclosed tweet saying how excited you are about whatever it might be, poopy coin, and you guys will get this. It's been meme coins. Meme coins were especially bad for this. And I think meme coins
back in 23, holy dude. Yeah.
The non-disclosure in 22, 23 with meme coins would have been diabolical, man. Diabolical.
Unbelievable.
And people were, and this is what Jamesy was saying, is teams didn't want you to say it was a sponsored post because, as Jamesy said again, smart boy, organic posts or from the heart or supposedly from the heart or from passion just hit better. And if you put that line in that, this is a paid partnership, it just doesn't always hit as well. And the devs of said meme coin knew that. So that's why they incentivized people. So I think that's where a culture of non-disclosure came from. And Jamesy, being in the trenches with you, with meme coins in 22, 23, you and I saw it all. Like we saw it
100%.
all. Like undisclosed was everywhere. In fact, there was no disclosure, I don't think.
Although I thought I saw it all and I thought I knew it all until this whole troll stuff happened this week. And now they're saying like the peanut dev has dev'd like all these big coins. And I'm like,
really?
I think it's the same 5 people that dev'd every fucking coin ever.
No way.
I think we fed the same 5 or 10 quote unquote devs. They're not even developers, man. They just press deploy. But we fed the same 5 or 10 people like $1 trillion.
No way. No way.
That sucks. I remember, James, you were probably in the group chats as well. I remember being in a few in particular, and it turned out with that, and I've told the story a couple of times, but it turns out that obviously Pepe Dev, Mog Dev, Joe Dev were all in the group chat, but I didn't get the tap on the shoulder to say ape these guys, and even worse.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Bro, I was like, I've known you guys for years and you didn't give me the heads up. And then even worse was knowing that they had market makers behind it, like Wintermute back in Pepe early days. And again, they didn't tell me. I was like, man, why didn't you just tell me you had a market maker? I would have put every coin. Probably a good thing they didn't tell me. I guess it means they were kind of not disingenuous about it. But I still remember that day finding out there were those devs in the chat who I spoke to every day. And I was like, how did am I the
That was
only one?
DGen, right? Was it it's DGen who launched it?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think
it's
so.
Like I never knew if that was official or not because I've read a bunch of things. I didn't know either, but honestly, it's crazy.
He launched it, but he was obviously in the room,
like part of it. Yeah. And that's where like I always just go back and I'm like, I think that everyone's in the room. Like the space is not that big. I think we would be very surprised that like if we were able to just go right now and say who launched everything ever and like for sure we're able to, I think we'd be surprised.
I think it's very incestuous, and I guess that's the point I'm making, is that we had all those devs in one place of very big tokens, and it's just backing off what you said before. I think a few devs must have absolutely killed it, huh? Like,
and I'm sure we could probably come up with a list of names of 5 or 10 people that it is. It's the same people that are dropping CAs all the time, being like, found this, found that, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, how do you keep finding these?
Yeah,
we are the exit liquidity until we're not.
And is one of the I don't want to hold you up too long, but is one of the risks at the moment, or the things that I'm hearing, and I'm getting DMs from traders, or the odd DM saying, "Man, why are you bothering being a trader? Let's just launch a coin." and they'd send me a P&L of their creator fees. And I
I know,
spoke
bro.
to
It's crazy.
and I spoke to Granny about this the other day, and I like the guy who sent me this. This is not throwing shade at all, because it's people can operate differently. It's fine, and the ticker went pretty well, so it's okay. But he made 50K in a day from creator fees, and he goes, "Bro, why are you trading meme coins? Why don't you just spin up a ticker? We can do this together. Look what I made today." And I looked at it and went, part of me went, "What am I doing?" Like,
Part of me does that every day, man. I see these creator fees, and a lot of the guys that a lot of the big trenchers, like I've not really been trading meme coins for like a year, more than a year now, but a lot of the big trenchers have started openly, like they talk about it on the timeline, launching coins, and they're not rugging them. They're saying we're launching them. If they fly, we get the fees. If they don't fly,
yeah.
we don't. Whatever. Ethically, I don't know. Legally, I don't know. And one of the reasons why is because I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about all that. I kind of do know how I feel, and I think that personally, I can't launch a coin.
Yes,
Knowing it's gonna go, I just can't. I don't think. But yeah, every fucking day I see these people that are like, Nick Shirley made $1 million on his fucking coin, and this random a non-dev launched a coin today that got picked up and made 200K, and I'm like, man, it's a lot of fucking hours you got to work to make 200K, bro. Like, Jesus Christ.
yeah.
So
Look at
it's
Ralph overnight,
crazy.
boys. Look at Ralph overnight.
Yeah. How much did that make in creator fees?
400. Yeah, he made 200. I think he
$1,000.
sold 200, and then he made 200 on creator fees. So it was like 400.
That's disgusting. Like
It is
$400,000. like sorry, but can we back the truck up for a second? Just $400,000.
Bro, I would do some bad stuff for 400,000. So surprisingly, I wouldn't launch a ticker. And just to bring up that other guy that launched that coin, I saw the next day he had launched 2 more. So I was like, far out, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I think there's one guy. I won't name names not because it's bad, but I just don't want to give people clout. But I read a tweet of someone who's very publicly launching creator coins on Pump Fund right now, and they're up like $1 million since the beginning of the year in creator fees. And essentially they're saying, well, I'm not rugging, I'm not bundling, I'm not rugging, I'm not stealing. It's just the creator fees. And I'm like, man, I don't know how I feel about it. But again, I actually have no idea, because if you came up to me right now and you said, without an ounce of a doubt, it's so legally okay, it's not gray, it's black and white, and this is so legally fine, I would probably go make a Twitter and said that fucking literally says, I'm launching 1 ticker per day for 365 days. I'm never going to buy the token. I'm never going to sell. I'm just capturing the fees. Like, you could probably do it in a transparent way. But I don't know the legalities, and that's where like it comes back to, forget fucking meme coins and Pump Fund. This is where a lot of huge crypto companies are still positioning themselves for a huge change in policy, perhaps, if the Mr. Trump does not stay in power forever. Companies at the tailwind of what that kind of tenure looks like are positioning themselves to not have the same enforcement by action come and happen, right? So it's interesting. I've been following a lot of the Coinbase stuff, and their chief legal officer is super brilliant, and they go to court for a lot of things, and they're really doing good for crypto. And it's interesting to see that really big companies are positioning themselves like proactively for maybe future changes in policy. So that's just where I'm like, it's not worth the risk. I also actually forget that it's all that stuff that I said is true, but the number one thing that I could not deal with the people, bro. Who wants to launch a coin and have a coin attached to their name, bro? People will want to kill you. People will want to, I won't say the bad things that they say to people that do that, but like, who in the world, and not just a meme coin, any coin. I would never launch a coin. Why would you want, at one day, it might take 1,000 years, the price is going to be down, bro. And everyone's going to hate you, and you're the fucking villain.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've seen it happen over and over to people, and I think, I just don't want that stigma. And like you just said, I mean, all you had to do back in the day was pop in a Telegram group of a coin and see the aggressive nature of people if the price starts dumping and the things that are said. And I was like, whoa, because I'm doxxed.
Nasty work, bro. Yeah, nasty work.
Doxxed. I'm like, I can't be doxxed and have people wanting to murder me, man. I'm like, I can't live with that sort of stress, dude. I need to know that if I shill something, that I'm in the same boat as the people who see my shill, and if they lose money, I probably did as well.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Like that's what that skin in the game is. That again is that piece of genuine, like, that's real. I have money in the fucking game too, bro. I'm buying Pepe. Like, okay, if you choose to buy it, I'm not telling you to, but like, we're in this together.
Yeah, I remember. Just to go back, I CTO'd a coin. I helped Lexapro back in the day. CTO Clippy back in the. I see Clippy's come back.
Clippy, yeah, I
The
remember.
amount of
Yeah,
Clippies, Greg.
I got
The amount
shilled
of
Clippy this morning, bro.
Oh,
Bro, I
dude.
CTO'd it 2 years ago.
I swear on my
It was the
fucking
worst experience
life,
of my life. Fuck.
I was shilled Clippy this morning.
Dude,
Yeah.
what about like this? I mean, it's just the same shit, right? Like, look at Wojak and the bullet, whatever the other bullish one. Like, it's just,
It's about 100 of those.
it's like, I don't want to trade that. I will trade like something like White Whale. I made a bit of money on White Whale because I found it early because it was organic. Not a lot of people were talking about it, and I got it at 19 mil. I was late, right? But I still got it at 19 mil before it ran to 200. But the emphasis around me, like as a trader, like I don't want to be trading a derivative of a derivative of a derivative that was a derivative, two derivatives before that derivative 2
From
years ago.
Ethereum to Solana to TON to BNB. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's just
Louis
whack.
to being,
Like,
yeah,
that's
dude,
just
it's
whack.
nuts, bro. It's like, at least be creative. Like, come on, I'm not going to trade that. Like, if you were here in 23, you're not going to trade the same shit that you traded and made money in 2023, right? So I think the landscape, I mean, it's an interesting landscape. I don't know how it's going to change though.
I don't know.
I don't.
What, Jamesy, what do you think, just before we wrap up, what do you think the future of meme coin, this is probably a strange question, I haven't even thought about this. What does the future of meme coins look like? Like the way they are at the moment, to me, it looks sloppy, but maybe I'm older and jaded. I come from a time when they were a bit unique and there wasn't as many. Are we gonna have to see a clean out? Maybe it's the bear market we need. Is that, maybe I'm going to answer my own question? Do we need a bear market to clear out all the shite, or is this just going to continue and meme coins are going to be the way it is? What do you think?
I think it continues, and the reason I think that is because back in the day, you actually had to be a developer to launch a coin.
Yeah, it's
right. Actually had to have an inkling of understanding of the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fund a contract, deploy, move the coins. It's so easy to launch a coin now. It's so streamlined. Every single person in the world can do it. I think that it just becomes exponent. Bro, we're gonna have AI agents launching coins, farming fees. Like, I'm sure that's already happening. Actually,
So true.
I bet you people have agent farms launching coins and rugging them after the first buy, relaunching in 1 second. Like, it's gonna proliferate more and more and more. I think the future of meme coins is a big black box. But I don't think that it's ICM. I really, really have never been a fan of the ICM. I don't think I bought any of them. If I have, it was very quick flips. But I've never talked about ICM other than just talking about the meta. And I've never seen. Well, it's a good parallel to like some of these companies getting acquired, acqui-hired for like basically the teams that are on these companies, and the tokens are getting left behind while the team is getting absorbed by a bigger company. Same idea here, where it's like, no matter what you do for these coins, they're only going to move based on speculation. There's not a lot you can do to build to actually give them like a value, like an equity in a company per se, right? So it's just going to continue to just be what it is. I agree with you though. I miss the funny memes. I miss the animal memes that we were doing, bro. I bet that stuff was actually hilarious, bro. Like, and my litmus test would be my wife. Like, I'd be like, I'd show her a picture, wouldn't even ask a question, and she'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "Okay, we're buying." She looks at it. That's stupid. That's stupid, bro. Like, if you want to trade coins, get a girlfriend. You'll be more successful.
I agree. No, I do the same. If a normie laughs straight away, it's normally a buy. Yeah, there was some ridiculously funny good memes in 22, 23. It's kind of a shame it's gone this way. But again, maybe like I said, I'm old, I'm jaded, and maybe I'm one of those guys now that remember the old days. They were so good. Maybe I'm that guy now. But yeah, it's certainly taken a turn for shiteness, and that's why, Jamesy, same as you, I haven't really actively traded memes now for same as you, a year plus. I just didn't see the risk reward, just wasn't there as much. And yes, you do have a weekly runner, but that's why White Whale was interesting to me, because I did wonder if we were back for a moment in time, but yeah, I don't think so. I just think that was a flash in the pan for me. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think memes are back where everything's just going to run. They still look like.
No, you look at, and like I pivoted, like I was huge in the trenches before like I created the first meme coin tutorials on YouTube. If you go back and look, when I was a tiny creator in December 2023, and then you had huge people take over, Orangey, Sajid, you name it, everyone's got a meme coin tutorial now. But I was deep in the trenches with Craig, with a range of different people. GTG community that we run, the trading community, like we dominated for ages. And then it was Trump launch, and I started to see a shift. I started to see volume was shit, bundles everywhere, airdrops everywhere, manipulation everywhere. I was like, you know what? Like, it isn't a consistent way that I feel confident trading anymore to make consistent money. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do instead? Day trade perps or swing trade memes instead. So Mog, Pepe, Bonk, Pump, obviously more recently. You can trade a lot of these high-end, high market cap memes on perps. So that's what I've just become, a swing trader of memes on perps. And so even White Wow, they launched on Bybit. I couldn't believe they were on Bybit. So I shorted it the other day at like 70 mil. I was like, why is this on Bybit? So I shorted it anyway. But it's just like, it's you have to change, and you have to, unless you are plugged in. And that's the other thing. Like, we create content, we run a community, we're trying to run the Market Mates show, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't have time to sit in front of a computer all day and try and trade trench-based meme coins. What I do have time is to zoom out on a 4-hour, on a daily, on a weekly, on a 3-day chart, and swing trade, right? So that's, again, you got to adjust to what suits your lifestyle, what you enjoy doing, as you said earlier, JMC, like, and then talk about it. Like, that's how you grow a brand, I think, in public. So, I mean, it's all kind of confluence, what we've talked about today. But anything else we want to talk about before the end of the show?
Jamesy or me?
Either or, boys. Any topic, any questions, any what's your bold take, Jamsey, for 26 in crypto? We asked OSF the same thing, and he said BTC new all-time highs. He's more bullish on Ethereum. I said, sorry, mate, I'm a bear. What's your bold take, Jamsey?
One sec, I'm scrolling on Twitter because I have this written out for you. On January 1st, I wrote my predictions for the year. So I pulled it up because, again, kind of going back to what I said earlier, it's based on this point in time, and it might change over the year. But where is it? Bear with me 1 second.
No dramas.
Where's my list?
Need a bookmark it.
I found it. Okay, here's my predictions for the year. Number 1, Bitcoin trades higher in 2026 than where the year started.
As in just on any day?
Like, it will trade higher by the end of the year.
Okay. Interesting.
All-time highs? Yes.
Ooh.
Making money becomes a lot harder than it was last year.
Yes.
There is no broad alt season.
Yes, agreed.
The creator economy grows, but top-heavy. We're already seeing this play out.
Yes.
MicroStrategy sells 0 Bitcoin and does not go under.
Interesting.
NFTs do not see a 2021 style run again.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I agree with that.
Prediction markets expand quickly with real product depth.
Yeah.
InfoFi as mass farming fades, replaced by smaller, more targeted systems that actually pay the users that convert and provide real mind share. It's already happening.
Yeah.
Blockchain adoption keeps grinding forward, consumer facing and institutionally, which is kind of an obvious one. Like, the trend is just that, right? But we're seeing it again. You either learn to adapt or you die.
Yeah,
that's my predictions.
That's the same moral as what we've spoke about all show. So I think that's a pretty good prediction. I would argue we don't see all-time highs in 2026.
You don't think so?
No.
So that's not in my predictions. I think I'm putting that out there to agree with OSF. I think there's a good chance we do. What I'll say, the deciding factor will be who the next Fed chair is and what the Fed decisions will be. That's going to drive a lot of, and that's kind of when you ask me, am I bear or bull right now? I'm kind of split until we figure that out. Because until then, obviously, Jeremy Powell's being criminally investigated, and like it's this big black box of what's going to happen, right? But it would be very funny if Jeremy Powell came out next Fed meeting and raised rates just to piss Trump off. I mean, like, you never know, right?
I mean,
you never know with this timeline.
I'd actually like that because then you can buy shit lower. I'm a big
yeah, there you go. So, yeah, that's my predictions for the year. So I think nothing crazy this year. I just hope for world peace this year is what I hope for.
Yeah, yeah, same, dude. Like, you just want a world that is happy, is safe, and is healthy. I think that's in economy, in wealth, in health, in everything. I very much agree with that.
Is there any meme coin tickers you're frothing on at the moment, Jabsy? Have you got any low cap shitters for us just before we go? Do you want to pump a chart?
I'll tell you guys after because I am buying something.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, sweet. Okay, perfect.
I bought the first meme coin that I bought in like years with like any amount of like substantial value.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about that after the show. Jamesy, thanks so much for jumping on with us, mate. We very much appreciate it. One of us, essentially, a trader, a creator, someone who knows what they're talking about, and someone who's very entertaining to follow on the timeline and obviously talk with today. So thanks so much for jumping on us on our show.
Yeah, thanks,
I mean, we
James.
can do both those things, boys.
I can't believe it's taken this long to actually get you on. So it's been great to have a chat with a fellow DJ, dude. Thank you so much for your time and shooting the shit and being super honest with us as well. It's always good to get someone real on the show, someone real who says what they actually think, not what they paid to think. So I appreciate that from you as well.
Hell yeah, boys. Always, man. Been a pleasure.
Easy, guys. Well, we'll end the stream there, guys. We'll have a chat after. But as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a lovely weekend. And shout out to OKX for partnering with us as well. Craig and I'll be back next week. We've got FFV, another creator in the space, on our show next Wednesday, Australia time. So it'll be Tuesday evening for our American friends over the other side of the world. So have a great weekend, boys, and everyone out there. And